Hello everyone, this is JS Reviews, and today we'll be taking a look at the debut album from California emo, post-hardcore, poetic band Movements. This album is called Feel Something, and it's their debut record, I already said that, on Fearless Records. Now before we get into the review, I'll give you guys a little bit of background on this band. So this band used to be a very underground, melodic hardcore band, which was on the YouTube channel called Dreambound, and honestly, they're a great YouTube channel. Dreambound is a channel that helps promote underground melodic hardcore bands, and they do a good job. A few of the bands on there have ended up getting signed. I believe Counterparts were on there. I think Being as an Ocean were on there at one point as well when their first album came out. So really great bands on there. Definitely check out that YouTube channel. And Movements inevitably did get signed in about 2015, and they got signed to Fearless, which I was really surprised. Fearless is one of the bigger labels in this scene. Being as an Ocean got signed to In Vogue, which is a smaller label. But yeah, Movements did get signed by Fearless, which is actually really big for them, and they put their music video out for Protection, which was originally out on Dreambound, but now it's on Fearless. Go check out that music video, that's a great song. And then they released an EP called Outgrown Things, an EP that I absolutely adored. I loved everything about it. There was a perfect mix between screams, sings, and spoken word. But however, on this newest album, Feel Something, they've kind of gone a different path. And it's a path that I absolutely love. This is their best project they've done yet, in my opinion. I like how they've kind of cut the screams, because I never thought that Patrick, the lead singer of Movements, was all that great of a screamer. I mean, he's a good screamer, but he's not a great screamer. He's a much better singer, in my opinion, and I'm so glad that he has used the singing, the clean vocals in this album more often. He also said that this album was 85% singing, 10% spoken word, and 5% screaming. So, that's definitely showed off here. So, we'll go ahead and get right into this album. I'll go ahead and start with the positives here. There are a lot of great songs on here. The first single, Colorblind, was a great song. I love it. I still love it to this day. Probably one of my favorites on the album. A lot of these are my favorites on the album. This is an amazing album. I can't wait to listen to it even more and love it even more. The 3 songs that were released when you pre-ordered the album were Colorblind, Daylily, and Deadly Dole. Honestly, those 3 are probably 3 of my favorites on the album. I love all 3 of them. I just love Colorblind. I love Daylily. Daylily is probably in my top 3 on this album, because it's just, I love the lyrics. The lyrics really hit you. The guitars captivate you. The part where Patrick just sings, "Shine on to me, shine on me," is just amazing. It gets me every time. And then Deadly Dole, this song really brings a tear to my eye every time I listen to it. It's about Alzheimer's disease, and honestly, they execute it perfectly. My grandpa kind of has Alzheimer's. He has dementia, which is a not very severe Alzheimer's, I'll say. He's doing fine. He's a very healthy man. His brain's kind of going away, and I can really relate to this song right here. This album also gives me some Boston Manor vibes as well. Boston Manor, another great band. They also have a song about Alzheimer's disease. That song's called Forget Me Not. And Forget Me Not was also one of my favorite songs on Boston Manor's album, Be Nothing. Definitely go check that album out as well. But anyway, back to Movements. Those were 3 great songs. And then some other great songs. Toward the end of the album, we have Submerge. This one is probably my favorite on the album. I really just love the guitar tones on this one. It really feels like you're submerged underwater, and it really gives you that kind of vibe. And the lyrics are really just ambient. This is probably the most ambient song on the album. And I love the kind of high-pitched guitar, I don't really know what you call it, that goes on throughout the entire song. That kind of goes on throughout the entire song in the background. That really adds to the effect, and that's also part of the reason why I think Submerge is the best song that Movements have ever done to this day. And then I also really like the closer called The Gray. I think the lyrics are a little bit typical. It kind of sums up everything the album has gone with so far, and it's just kind of the emo ending and stuff. And I really like how the album ends with a poetic area where he speaks in kind of a poem in the song, and I really enjoy that. So it really was cool. I really did enjoy that final song. And then we get to some some of the songs toward the middle I actually really enjoyed as well. The song that really surprised me that I ended up liking was actually the acoustic song Fever Dream. I thought Fever Dream was a great song. That acoustic guitar is so captivating. When the acoustic guitar kicked in, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this, but then they really go on with the song, and I just love Patrick's vocals on there. It's very repetitive, but it just captivates me every single time. And I love how the electric guitars kind of come in the middle of the acoustic guitars toward the end of the song, and it just really adds to the effect. So Fever Dream was great. And then the song Third Degree, which was the second song on the album, was another great one. That's probably my favorite chorus on the album, probably the biggest chorus on the album as well. I really do enjoy that song. And then there are some negative things about this album, very minor, but it's not a perfect album by any means. So we'll go ahead and get those out of the way. First one is, I think the opening track, Full Circle, was a little weak as an intro. And then the song Under the Gun, which appears toward the end of this album, is definitely my least favorite on the album. I don't know. The song, everything just seems disjointed about that song. I don't like how it opens up with a good riff, but then it just goes straight into the screaming and no guitars, just the bass and the screaming. I just didn't really like that. I don't really like that song. Just kind of skip it. If it comes on, I'm playing it on shuffle. And then another negative thing is some of these songs just end abruptly. I don't know if I really like that. One of those being the song Deep Red, where it gets really good toward the end. Deep Red's also another great song on the album, but toward the end of it, you kind of get lost in there, which is definitely great, but then all of a sudden it says, "My world is," and then it just kind of cuts away and then goes to some ambient guitars at the very end. And I didn't expect that, and I kind of had a WTF moment there. It's not really a bad thing. I do kind of like it, but it's just, I didn't expect it. It'll grow on me with more listens. And if that's what Movements were going for, was to kind of catch you off guard, they definitely did a great job there. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You also see that kind of thing on the song Third Degree. I mentioned that one earlier as well. But it does have an ending like that as well. But again, I'm not sure if it's a bad thing. And they may have done a really good job with it if that's what they were trying to go with catching me off guard. So yeah, that's basically the album in my opinion, and it's definitely a great debut album. I really can't wait to see what these guys do in the future. There are about 2 songs I didn't enjoy on the album, but the rest I think is amazing. If you just cut those 2 songs, I think you have a 10 out of 10 album. But because of those 2 songs and some of the other things I complained about, I think I'm going to give this album a 4 out of 5. Anyway, what did you guys think of the album? Let me know in the comments below if you liked the album, if you didn't like the album. And go ahead and leave a like on the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And be sure to check out some of my older videos as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.